that we are constantly given choices in life, and those choices are based on our emotions, and not emotions, sorry, emotions is wrong, but it's our like gut feeling. Like it's like there are things, there's a person you know you should be, like there's the person that you picture yourself, and in order to get to that person, from now to then there's a bridge, and in order to kind of like walk that bridge, you're going to have to let go of a lot of things that currently define you, because if you want to walk into that new person, who isn't a new person, it's just kind of like the more essence natured of yourself, there's a lot you have to let go of, and things that hold you back and cut your wings. And yeah, so kind of in order to get to that person, what do you have to let go of? What is it that's holding you back? What is it that defines you now that you don't want to define? And it's not easy. You can't just be like goodbye, chop, because there is the like, for example, it's not about letting go of them physically, it's about letting them go in your mind. It's like, usually we carry the stress of like, fuck, I have to see this person. And, or like, no. Okay, so there are some people that chop people out of their lives, but they still talk about them in their everyday life. Like in their everyday life, they're still dwelling on what they did, what someone did to them, or, like this happened 5 years ago, they're still a bad person. And they're like, that's why I've kicked them out of my life. But the thing is, they have kicked them out of their life, but it's still in their mind. That person hasn't actually left their life. So they're spending so much time still dwelling on that person that hurt them or that impacted them, and like saying like, that's why I've gotten rid of them. But you can get rid of someone physically, you can get rid of an object, you can throw away this pillow because you don't want to be a hoarder. But if you cry about it every day of your life, that's not what letting go is. Letting go isn't physically, it's mentally. It's like you're letting go of the responsibility and the obligation to that person. And I think the moment you let go of the people you should be hanging out with, and the image that you see yourself, which is why you're hanging out with the people you hang out with, or the minute you get rid of all of that, the minute you can actually like start being that which you're meant to be, I guess. Like, I don't know whether it's like you're put on this earth to be, but there's our general essence. Like my perception is that there's my body. Hello, body. Behind this body, there's this essence that is me. It's my natural state, and we create so much anxiety and drama and all this stuff. And I think the more anxiety and stuff that we're holding on to, it manifests within our body. And something I've noticed is over the past few years, maybe I was skinnier 2 years ago. I'm actually not sure. But I felt heavy. Like I weighed 44 kilos 2 years ago, and I felt like a fucking brick. Like, I was scared to go out in public. I was scared to, like, whenever I was like getting into my bikini, there was always such a anxiety behind that, because I was like, it felt like I was stuck in my body. I couldn't see through my body. I couldn't look at another person because I was always thinking about what I looked myself. And so, oh, hello birds. The birds are pretty. And yeah, so the more I've let go of things mentally, the lighter my body seems, and the more I can actually look at another person, the more I can appreciate nature, the more I can kind of look outside myself. And so, yeah, so I've started to observe, I guess, the manifestation of our mind and our body, because for me, at least, I don't know about anyone else, but for me, it's really correlated. everything that I think I feel it impacting in my body. The past few days I felt pretty heavy, and I've been collecting a lot over the past 3 days. I feel like I've been collecting a lot, or 2 days of anxiety, and yeah, I just felt a bit heavy, and last night it all kind of crashed, came to a boom, and now I feel light again. And people say, and I've experienced, when you cry a lot, you feel lighter. You're letting go. It's like, the tears wash away things. I also like kind of poeticizing life. So the way I describe things might come across very differently to how you might see it or how it is in reality. But in my mind, things are very lovely. Quite poetic. Yeah, so I am making the choice to let go of a lot of things. Just let it go. There are so many things that I don't need that I think I need, and it's not helping me. It's just not helping me. So goodbye to that perception of myself that I expect myself to be, because what you want yourself to be is never, is usually a comparative image, an image that you're looking at yourself based on the comparison of everyone else. But you're not everyone else. You're you. You're you. You're not meant to be anyone else. You're meant to be as you can possibly be. And so, letting go of that, I guess. What else? I feel like last year I was never in like using television. I wasn't watching TV. I wasn't watching the screen. Because I wasn't studying. Everything was very physical. Like hand people cups. Like I was working at a cafe, or like write this essay. I was helping someone kind of tutoring. Everything was very practical and for someone else. I was doing everything for everyone else, which I loved, because you kind of drop your own sense of identity, ego, whatever. And now my lifestyle's changed. I'm living like this TV screen here, which is kind of worshipped every night. But there's a lot of TV watching and movie watching, and like I spend most days doing my own work for my own doing well, and I find it harder to do things for like I find it hard to study because I need to get a high distinction. I find it hard because it's like it feels kind of purposeless, and it's like like if I don't get this, I am judged, I am stupid, I am this. And when I was doing it for other people, it was just like I'm excited to do well for them, and I did better probably for other people because it wasn't my name in the fucking thing. It was helping someone else. And I think studying is it's amazing because you learn, but I think it's the balance between not letting your own ego put the pressure on you, because I'm trying to see it from the viewpoint as I'm studying for the collective too. Like we're all together in this course, we're all learning off each other. It's not just a relationship between us and the teacher, it's actually everyone, because we all bounce off each other, we all introduce new ideas, we all do everything for everyone else. And yeah, I find that important. I guess it's rather than being like, how well can I do? It's like, no, how much fun can you have? I guess that's what I'm trying to perceive it as, because it does get difficult sometimes when it's constantly on, especially exam period, trying to study for yourself. But you know what? My first 2 exams were great. Anatomy, I don't know. I don't know how anatomy is going to go, because I just haven't focused the past 3 days. I preferred to swim, even though it's freezing. I prefer to swim. I think sometimes you have a destination in mind, you know where you want to go, but you don't plan how to get there. You just trust in a way that, and you do as much that you can to take the steps to move forward. You will get there. I think sometimes when we spend hours planning, we're not actually acting. We're just thinking, how can I get this? We're not being like, okay, shit, let's go to the city and spend 5 hours trying to busk. Who cares if people judge? Let's give this a try and get myself out there. I think the more like productive we are, and the more personal we are, and the more action-based we are, the more we're gonna grow from that. Because yes, you might look like a fucking idiot. Like, yes, you might screw up. Yes, you might do the wrong move, but people don't succeed by just, trying once and planning it and doing perfectly. No one ever succeeds from planning to be perfect. It's literally trial and error, and things don't happen straight away. Nothing ever happens immediately. People don't just get fulfilled. You've just got to keep trying, and till the day you die, you're trying. Till the day you lie on your bed, you're still not even trying, but we're changing, we're trying new things, we're learning new things. There's not one skill that you master in. You're not just like a businessman your whole life, or maybe you are, but it's like most of the time you're always changing your passions, and it's not like I'm going to be a doctor, that's it. Some people are like that, but I know for me, I'm going to be going through many waves of life and doing many different careers that I love. And yeah, right, like, I might do Chinese medicine, and then I might add on to Chinese medicine and mix it with yoga, and then I might add on to that and mix it with meditation, and then I might add on to that and mix it with kinesiology. It's like nothing's set. And I think the minute we start, I read this actually, so this, usually things I say is also things that have obviously been said before. Usually these things are just things that I've picked up on or experienced or seen, or nothing is really anyone's own personal thing. No one, like, everyone's a collection of everyone else. So what everyone says is as a result of their whole upbringing. It's not just, them, So it's like, even like, I don't know, Alan Watts, or like, I can name so many people, but I'm pretty sure everything, oh, there's a hole, hello. I'm pretty sure everything that they say is also like as a reflection of what they've heard, and it's just their ability to express it. So I prefer doing this in the studying, because this really motivates me when I talk about things about that have importance to me, because sometimes I don't, I don't know. But something I was meant to say at the beginning, which I didn't say, is that I'm in the way I'm living, like right now, I've just spent most of my time studying, and then breaks, and then seeing some people here and there, but I've spent a lot of time alone because just circumstance. I've had to study, or I'm meant to study, and Most people around have like their daily routines, and my daily routines are studying and going to the beach. And I think at least in this society, in Sydney, it's a very individual life people live. At least for me right now, I don't know. Maybe I'll experience a very communal side of Sydney, where everyone kind of, does things together, and that thing definitely exists. And soon enough, I'll experience that. But for now, everything's very individual, and so yeah, it's just I think sometimes it can be depressing, not just for me, for everyone. But like it feels very sad sometimes that we're all in our daily lives, and everything has to be so individual. It's got to be personalized. I don't know. It's just like there's a lack of human connection, and there's a priority on, I guess, screens and texting and flicking, and it kind of seems depressing sitting on trains and watching, like, I don't know, like sometimes I like watching people flick and look at people's lives, and I always kind of just like look at the people next to me and just like watch them flicking. And sometimes I end up having a conversation with them because like I'm just chilling, and they notice I'm not like flicking, and they just, I don't know, we just chat. But sometimes, like, there's just a feeling of like almost like, yeah, it's like, it's just, that's just everyone's lives. It's flicking and watching other people, and there's so much watching of other people that we end up actually not acting on what we want to be doing. So I think there's sometimes a lack of balance. It's like you can spend all day flicking, and it becomes your world, and you forget to do what you've been put out to do. You forget to do what you actually want to be doing, and yeah, it's depressing and it's stagnant. And yeah, I deleted Instagram for a day, and I'm gonna be in a silent retreat for the next 3 weeks. So I'm not gonna have a phone when I'm sitting it for 10 days, and it's so nice. I'm excited. I fucking hate, like, I don't know what I would do if it was just phone based, like always. And I know when I'm in India, I'm barely on my phone. But right now, my lifestyle is very phone orientated, which is great. I'm experiencing a different side, but it's yeah, it can be lonely. It's very lonely. Um, yeah, adding that to it. I keep flicking back to when I was in Oroville, this place in India, and I was in a hut, and I don't know how I came across it, but I had this hut to myself, and I was helping out the girl who lived in. She owned the hut, and she lived next to it, and she had just had a motorcycle accident, and she just was bedbound for about 3 weeks, and I helped her out. And but she was so independent. Like, she was bedbound, she had scars everywhere, but so her bed was in nature. Like, her bed was like, it was like, like a hut, but surrounded by trees, and there was cows, and there was vegetables, and there was, everything was natural, and you just ride your little scooty and go into town and pick things up. And I just remember, just like, I ate so much less, and I spent all day just meditating, all day doing yoga. I'd go into town and grab some coffee with people, and we talk about life, and we talk about fun stuff. And yeah, it was just beautiful. It was just like very natural. Like, you're drinking water, your feet are in it's in nature, and you lie there and hear the sounds, and you feel the cold, and you have to put a bug net, otherwise you're going to get bitten by mosquitoes. And you wake up, like, I was sleeping like 3 hours a night, but even then waking up and just like having energy to meditate. And every day was like, I was going through a hard time mentally. I definitely, it wasn't perfect. Nothing's ever perfect. Life isn't perfect. Your mind follows you wherever you go. So if you have a crazy mind, changing houses won't help. You've got to change your mind, then your house will change. But at that time, and also when we look at the past, everything's rose-colored glasses. Quote, a friend told me that when I was going through a hard time, and I was reflecting on the beautiful past at the time. But yeah, it's just very just very natural. And here it's still beautiful, but I think in winter especially, like, there's a heater right here which was turned on. I'm probably going to turn it off, but you get so comfortable when you put on these layers, and usually like I sit by the heater and just kind of wrap myself in blankets and stuff, but it doesn't make me feel better. It kind of makes me feel more restrained, and when I go swimming I feel very free. And there's just a lot of barriers between nature. I was reading a book, Anastasia. I think I've spoken about this book like hundreds of times, but she lived out in the Russian forest. It's a true story. Someone wrote it about her, Vanderbilt something, I don't know. But she lives with nature, she lives with animals, and she pretty much lives in like a cave. She lived in a cave or something, and during winter she said that like she pretty much wore no clothes, and in winter she still wore no clothes, and yeah, everything went fine because she said our bodies are made to adapt if you let it. And she would eat like 3 things a day, just like some nuts off the trees, and it was a really cool book, and she gives really cool life lessons about how we're supposed to plant and how we're supposed to live with nature and sex and love, and about the way the child is conceived is also impacts. This is probably like I think most definitely connected with science too, or psychology. The way the child is conceived, maybe this isn't, but it was interesting. The way a child is conceived reflects the person that they become in many ways. Like it's like almost like it's like the way, like if a child is conceived out of love, there's a more fulfilling, it's fulfilling. I don't know if this makes sense, but this is just how I intuitively understand it. But then when a child is conceived out of pure sex and human desire, like physical desire, there's a different intention and a different feeling, and the child feels that. The child can feel that impurity, and from the day they're conceived, children who are the most sensitive beings can feel their intention. And so that's also like when parents are lying to a kid, the kid knows, the kid is smart, and sometimes I look at kids as like, the kind of like the mirror default, the mirror blind spots in the parent. So it's like usually like children are these pure beings, and what the parents hate about their own self and their own sense, like what they tell themselves not to do, they start projecting that onto their children. And so it feels just like a chain. Like if a parent's too scared that they feel too loud, say as a person, and they're always like telling themselves to be quiet, be quiet, be quiet. If a kid, God forbid, their kid is loud, they'll be like, don't you fucking do that. And it's always projection, usually. Like if you think of the parent, there's always this mirror image in the child, and yes, it's DNA, I'm sure, but like it's also their own preconditioned in the parents, also preconditioned in the child. And and I think none of this has any conclusion. This is just me talking. Oh, if anyone has any topics they want me to know, because it's really fun to just talk about things that, because I'm always feeling of topics and ideas, and this might, maybe I know all the things I've watched and it's really helped me during the way, and some things really clicked with me and ended up changing the course of what I did, and so maybe by me speaking, this might help someone who, this could be me who needed the help a year ago. Who knows? So if there's any topics, let me know. Kind of most things I do is just free talk, because there's things always flowing through me, and it's really nice to be able to share them rather than keep them in. Otherwise, life feels really shit and boring. So, yeah. Goodbye. PM me if you want me to speak about anything in particular, because I will talk about it. Watch. Bye.